часто мати ключа від амбару. А такі випадки ж є.
Лише не дожив до визнання Україною голодомору геноцидом. Наталя Цепенко-Мейс продовжує видавати матеріали свого чоловіка, бо переконана, уроки 30-х не засвоєні і досі.
Well, you get this whole thing fucked up, though.
Світ жорстокий, він не милосердний.
Holy fuck.
This is the Beijing Hour, 1 hour of news and information brought to you every weekday.
Now here's your host, Shane Bigham, with you on this Monday, 2021. Live from on today's version of the holiday version of the program, Zimbabwe will receive its first batch of COVID-19 vaccines later today. In the UK received their first dose of coronavirus.
You don't care how you do. You're trying to impress us with how you're doing. I know you're a subcontractor to a subcontractor to a big tech company that we have to log into, and you're getting the IP address instantly. We know.
State amid the
That's
COVID-19.
5 times now. 6.
This recorded a sharp increase in cargo flights
Since we logged in,
4 days
that's
of the Spring Festival holiday.
And I was listening the whole time.
Yeah, we have
7, 8.
our fitness program. And now today's top stories. Zimbabwe is to receive its first
anything you can
vaccines later today. Around 200,000 doses of Sinopharm vaccine has arrived, has been donated by China. Now, President Emerson Mnangagwa earlier said the vaccines are providing a light of positivity as his country is struggling to contain the pandemic. And with the latest, we spoke to Gao Junya in Zimbabwe. What can you share with us about the vaccine?
Dear. Chinks talking to niggers trying to fix health problems. No wonder you're pissed off.
At around 11 a.m. Beijing time. And then the handover ceremony will be held. And actually, Zimbabwe is among the first 3 African countries to receive vaccines donated by China. Already arrived in Equatorial Guinea.
See what you're trying to jam up. That's 9, 10, a dozen times now. Something we're not trying to listen to.
Whether it's for local people here in
Zimbabwe
or
we would have changed the station already, stupid.
Jesus. Actually very
this is the white supremacist child molester said.
The second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic has hit
You're
Zimbabwe
so
and many other African countries very hard. So far, Zimbabwe has recorded over 35,000 cases. Over 2/3 of those confirmed cases have been reported in the second wave. And the total number of deaths is 1,400. And Zimbabwe has also lost 3 cabinet ministers, including the foreign minister in this wave. So the arrival of these vaccines, like President Mnangagwa said, it is a light at the end of a dark tunnel.
So with the arrival of the vaccine, what happens from here? What can you share in terms of the details about Zimbabwe's vaccine rollout?
So after its arrival, the vaccines will undergo 40 hours of test, and then they will be deployed to vaccination centers across the country. The Zimbabwean government says the vaccination will begin within this week. First, it will go to health workers. We know that there are fewer than 30,000 health workers here in Zimbabwe, so that means they are all fully covered. And the access will go to elderly people and people with underlying health problems.
Why? Those aren't the people that need to be vaccinated. You are dumb as hell.
So this is the phase 1 of this vaccination rollout program.
You got to vaccinate that AIDS patient so you don't make me sick.
Lecturers and school staff.
And
then the last phase it will cover other low-risk people. So the Zimbabwean government is working to secure more vaccines. The Zimbabwean government plans to vaccinate 10 million people, 60% of its population, and the details of how they'll accomplish that goal have not been revealed yet.
Well, the World Health Organization's warned that Africa is in danger of being left behind in the rollout of COVID-19 vaccines. So what's the situation in Africa now?
So African officials, 60% of Africa's 1.3 billion people will need to be vaccinated against this COVID-19 in order to achieve continent-wide herd immunity.
There's no such
That's
thing.
roughly 700.
This same woman will tell you
people.
reading's bad for you.
Earlier this
Reading in the
month,
dark,
South
reading in
African
bright light,
President
reading period is
that Africa
bad.
had secured 1 billion
Every woman they
doses,
put on the air on
and
China Radio
700
International
million
will tell
of
you
them
reading
will
is
come from the
bad.
global COVAX facility, and 300 million of them have been facilitated by the African Union-led vaccine acquisition program. So 1 billion is far from enough to achieve the vaccination goals, but at least Africa is catching up. And Ramaphosa also
65% was the original theory, not 60,
from the
not
private
90,
sector
not
in order to
95, not
purchase more
70,
vaccines.
65. Unless that
Sadly,
was
I
a
have
lie
to
too.
admit that till now, Zimbabwe is actually one of the few countries
And
in
it's a theory.
Africa
It's
that
never
have
been achieved
received its
anywhere.
vaccines
They've
and
never
yet
theory.
received
That's why
any
it's
vaccines.
lowercase letters.
So we hope more efforts could be done to secure more vaccines and more progress
only
can
true
be
part
made
about
for the
it
continent
is you
to
are
deal with the
livestock.
virus.
Matt Scout Jr. reporting from Zimbabwe. A report shows
That
that
report,
high-income
buddy.
countries, representing 16% of the global population, have snapped up at least 70% of COVID-19 vaccine doses available this year. The article was published in the medical journal The Lancet. It says rich countries had secured 1.2 billion doses of COVID-19 vaccines as of February the 8th. The U.S. has bought more than 1.2 billion doses to vaccinate its population twice. And the UK has got more than 3 times what it needs to inoculate its population. Meantime, the report says billions of people in low and middle countries may not have access to COVID-19 vaccines in 2021, warning it could prolong the pandemic and raises the risk of further mutations of the virus.
But the thing
British
is,
Prime Minister
we could
Boris
have picked
Johnson
up like a
says more
quarter
than
ounce at a
50
time if
million
we had
believe
to. You don't
at least
understand what
one
security
coronavirus
is.
vaccine dose in Britain.
You know, buddy, you're
Johnson
mad.
made a video
You're mad.
address
So
on
mad
Sunday
for listening to
in which
this,
he
and all
called
it
the
is so far is
achievement a
vaccine,
significant
vaccine,
milestone, but warned there's still a long way to go.
This country has achieved an extraordinary feat, administering a total of 15 million jabs
Thank you,
into
Mr.
the arms
Yeltsin.
of some of the most vulnerable people in the country. Those vaccines have been delivered in our NHS hospitals.
I don't think you people understand how this works. The vaccine,
cathedrals, churches, mosques, and temples, community centres.
the most vulnerable people aren't running in the street socializing, super spreading.
Scotland, Wales.
Giving it to them won't
Britain's
stop
managed to
anything.
vaccinate 22% of its population in a period of 2 months since kicking off its vaccination. The country ranks behind just
Keep it up,
It's inoculated 73% of its population, and the Seychelles at 53%, and the United Arab Emirates at 51%. Johnson's expected to give further details of the government's vaccination effort today, with announcements on inoculating the top 4 minority groups. Researchers in the U.S. say a new variant found in California is more infectious, has led to a surge in cases during the festive period. Researchers say they noted an emergence of the variant in the state during the Christmas New Year holiday. They reported that the new variant is distinct from those discovered in the UK and elsewhere. Dr. Jasmine Plummer is the Associate Director of Applied Genomics at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. And she says evolving to be more infectious, but not necessarily more severe. Plummer says they are conducting investigations to make sure that the vaccines are effective against this new variant.
They tell you in Turkey. There's not the vaccine they
Health officials in Guinea have confirmed that 3 people have died and 5 have tested positive for Ebola in a town in the country's south. It's the first cases since Guinea was one of 3 West African nations to fight the world's deadliest Ebola outbreak 5 years ago. The cases announced on Sunday were in the same region where that previous outbreak started. The origin of the infection is still unknown. Coming to festival tradition.
South Africa is now battling a new variant of the coronavirus and
We knew that in December.
Ms. von der Leyen warned that until a sufficient portion of Europe's 450 million person population are protected, for the Beijing Hour, I'm Benji Hire in Brussels.
There's no way to know if I got it in jail or outside. I think I got it outside.
Boris Johnson, this is Ian Talk in London.
Statistics show that the number of people battling depression in Sweden tends to pay Stockholm.
Efforts are underway across the United States to make polling stations only
The South African variant, supposedly,
Stay up to date
1351,
with the latest headlines
you get a weaker,
and everything China-related.
weaker
For the
symptoms.
Beijing Hour, I'm
You've already had SARS-CoV-2.
I'm Shaggy.
everything in focus, all in one
Curious, all the problems last
It's now 9 minutes past the hour. A group of expats have come together to learn about the traditions of the Chinese New Year. Nicole Ng joined them in Beijing.
红包, happiness meatballs, and haircuts that could curse your uncle. These are things Chinese people grow up with, things which mightn't make much sense to an outsider looking in. And it's why dozens came together to get a taste of how families will be spending the New Year holidays.
I did not know anything about the foods.
I know that Chinese New Year is a very traditional festival. The culture is really tried and have a feel for it.
On the menu, dishes from all over the country. Sophia was one of two chefs hosting the night. She explained that though flavors and cooking styles differ from region to region, ingredients remain essentially the same.
Doesn't matter where you are from in China, most every family will cook with the same ingredients and in different ways.
Co-chef Yao helped select the dishes on show tonight based on these ingredients.
We need to have chicken, we need to have meat, we need to have the fish. So it will be maybe chicken cooked in this way and maybe fish cooked in the other way.
Now there's a reason for this. The word fish, for example, sounds like the word for abundance. So our guests learned what to eat to maximize their good fortune. They also got to know some non-food traditions, like lighting firecrackers to scare away bad spirits and not cutting your hair in the first month of the new year. Of course, many were just excited to eat good food.
The cabbage with peanut sauce, and then also the fish. The fish is that was interesting.
You know, in Germany, you have a plate, and you have meat, and you have vegetable, and maybe potatoes, and that's it. So here in China, you really have this diversity on the table as well. I get
The Spring Festival may be celebrated. But for all Chinese people, it's the most important time of the year, one which is usually spent with family. And though their families may be far away, these foreigners seem glad to have been brought closer and to feel a bit like night.
That was Nicole. The Lunar New Year is the most important festival for all Chinese people, no matter where they are. For Chinese people in South Korea, they're luckier than most living outside of China because South Koreans also regard Lunar New Year as one of their most meaningful festivals. Jung Yoon finds out how Chinese people in South Korea are celebrating.
Chen Yan is a sophomore at Hanyang University. It's quite difficult for the 20-year-old to be away from her parents for such a long time. She said that she keeps dreaming about her grandparents and the Lunar New Year is approaching.
Will Trump fulfill prophecies from the 1800s?
I can't go back to China because of the pandemic and have to stay in South Korea during the Lunar New Year. I've been here since last March, and it's almost a year since I returned home. It's also the first time for me to be so far away from home for so long. And due to the pandemic, we cannot have a normal social life during the Lunar New Year holidays, and most of us would choose to spend the Lunar New Year's Eve at home. My plan is to have a simple and heartwarming New Year's Eve by cooking a meal at my friend's place and phoning my family to send New Year greetings.
Nearly 30,000 Chinese students enrolled in South Korean universities have returned to campus for the spring and autumn semesters after their winter vacation in 2020. Most of them chose to stay here due to the strict quarantine and testing rules both in China and South Korea. It's not only students, many other Chinese who work in South Korea are also choosing to stay. Will go back to her hometown of Qingdao and reunite with her only daughter for Spring Festival, but this will be her first Lunar New Year away from home.
It's my first Spring Festival here in South Korea. I have no other choice. I've already been missing my family, although the people here also celebrate Spring Festival in a grandiose way.
Coin. Not mine.
Friend from China. There is no exhilarating atmosphere as in China. No Spring Festival gala on TV. It's all quiet on New Year's Eve.
Mom's daughter is studying in high school in China, and it has been almost a year since she last saw her mother.
Moon says it's much better nowadays thanks to modern telecommunicating technology, which allows her to have video calls with her daughter.
现在真的是通信特别的发达。
Modern technology is so powerful that we can see each other via video calls. Otherwise, what can we do under the circumstance of this pandemic?
All the officials in the Chinese embassy in South Korea will also stay put for the Spring Festival.
独在异乡为异客。
As the poem goes, a lonely stranger in a foreign land, I am cast. I miss my family all the more on every festive day. Just like thousands of Chinese diplomats were remaining at our post during the Spring Festival.
Wang Xin is not the only one who has someone on her mind at the special time of year. Many of her colleagues are also thinking about their family.
I miss my wife and my child, Big Blue.
I miss my daughter, Ji Xiang. I miss my parents and grandpa. Mom, I miss you.
Just like South Korean President Moon Jae-in says, if we treasure the feeling of missing, we will care and cherish each other more. For the Beijing Hour, this is reporting from Seoul.
Many couples in China celebrated a different Valentine's Day yesterday. Treat eases.
今年的情人节，我感觉大家可能都更珍惜了。I think people are cherishing this year's Valentine's Day even more because we're surrounded by family and lovers. Due to the pandemic, we cannot meet someone, dine, or hang out as we usually do. The most special thing about us is that we're new parents. This is our first Valentine's Day as parents.
That isn't something to blow my mind.
You mentioned the walking dates, and I want to talk about that a little bit more, but let's take a quick break and we'll be back with more. It's Valentine's Day and it's all about love, and that's what we're talking about on the show today, so don't go anywhere. This is the Parenting Show right here on Global News Radio 640 Toronto.
I'm seeing record sell-offs in the stock market, and I'm really worried about my investments. What should I do? Have you thought about owning gold? When markets go down, gold tends to soar. During the last recession, gold rose over 180%. I had no idea. Maybe it's time for me to take action.
I'm not stupid, but when I look at the whole world, I think they're all stupid. I don't know if that's possible.
And I'm not sure where we stand. Accommodate and learn to live with cancer. You either eradicate it or it kills the patient. And I think the patient right now is terminal.
That was Jeff Timmer. He was the executive director of the Michigan State Republican Party from 2005 to 2009. Now he's a strategist and advisor for the Lincoln Project. Mr. Timmer, thanks so much for your time. Thanks for joining us.
His name is Tumor?
Thank you and have a wonderful afternoon.
No. If your name is Tumor, you don't get to use cancer to, like... Does he relate everything to cancer? The mustard on my cheeseburger is a cancer, and we need to eliminate it. Does he get to do that if his name is Tumor? Oh, Jesus Christ. You got the second worst, you got the worst musical breaks.
Yes, is more.
Tourism has long been a pillar of Thailand's economy, accounting for roughly 15% of the nation's GDP. 2019 saw nearly 40 million international visitors arrive in the country, but 2020's lack of international tourists has impacted many Thai citizens who relied upon the sector for employment, with those located in popular tourist destinations particularly affected. Ling Say Thai. Stephen Steele, an expat from the United States who has lived and worked in Bangkok for 6 years, often travels to nearby provinces.
Light rain was falling. The temperature was 36 degrees, 2.34.
Right, so they don't know the weather for shit, no matter what they say.
Dick, she want my dick, she know I'm sick, I ain't a crip, that crack I nip, I hit his lip, I be talking shit, fuck his click and fuck his gang, I'll hit the three just like I'm dang, she wanna hang that booty I bang, if you owe my gang, them hollow stang, my shorty's pang, she loves when I sang, she feels the pain, I'm in the rain, hit a stain, if the
12-hour video cuts out in the first 2 minutes of audio, so 20 minutes, it's ridiculous, so that's why I repeat myself a lot. Because I don't know, how could I possibly take the time to watch all those and check them off for sound? And this stupid site don't work, and Facebook don't work. I'm not gonna try this.
Hit it with a slug, go make it move slow, you know. Hey.
Oh, I should have put this in the video. Batman grafted in zigzags and there were wet spots in the zigs. Fucking hell are you doing?
Why just Batman 2019? I'm waiting to fuck that shit. They might come back. Bottle of dialogue.
No such thing as a government. Only people ruling over people.
Hey.
Running the system.
YG back from the tracks on the crack shit, swaps on the stack, niggas the Mac, no cheese, God bless me, no sneeze, niggas see me and breeze, 40 no shit, he's got strapped to the slab, they moving like a stack, never lack, just rack, put them in a box, no jack, roll one deep, never need a pack, hey, niggas know me from north to the south, never need no one, make my own club, Southside, reach your heart, nigga, that's my road, niggas selling drugs, man, I'm in a drug.
This is the type of idiot shit I get stuck on thinking about. So I go on Facebook, and somebody is doing a live video, and I try to comment something to say hello, and it enter does not work, and there's no button you could click on or tap. I'm looking at my question, like, what's going on? It doesn't go anywhere. But I can see comment after comment from some idiot accusing him of things I know he didn't do, saying bad things about him and shit. If this idiot can comment nonstop and I can't get one comment off.
I'm both stuck in red talk shit, catch lead to the head, off the shits, no meds, never fuck on the red, stay away from the feds on the streets.
Plug and play world, right?
Eat butter, I drank, no snow, no slip, I swamp me dead, this day I dread, bitch gave me hit, see my strap, they.
Oh, I saw this little bastard last night go crawling up the, so I've got a fan hanging off a wall real close to the ceiling. The electrical cord comes straight down, and I watched this mouse with his back and front paws shimmy up the fucking electrical cord. He got halfway up. I guess he looked up, realized there was nothing good for him up there, and he went back down. He turned around. Mice can climb on little tiny cords. Like, not a big rope that he's running along. He's got thumbs. On his feet too.
I don't be shit when I was in the ditch. No pussy, I'm rich. They low, don't switch. They solid one bitch. See the flick of the wrist. I
read the Wikipedia mouse page and I did not find the part about the skeletal structure.
Flick just like a dick. I'm in his house like old Saint Nick. She want my dick. She know I'm sick. I ain't a crip. That crack I nip. I hit his lip if he talking shit. Fuck his click and fuck his gang. I'll hit the 3 just like I'm dang. She wanna kang that 40 I bang. If he owe my gang them hollow stang. My shorty's pang. She loves when I sang. She feels the pain. I'm in the rain, hit a stain if that means getting paid, and this might quick you getting late. I'm in the trap, the cops did a raid. I got that work, you know it's A grade.
Oh, I never felt the pain up in there before. What the fuck is
that?
that?
You know you're rocking, man. Wire and DC. We'll find the paint, man. You know you're rocking. Got the whole strip locked down, cuz. Hey. Hit him with a slug, gon' make him move slow. You know me, I'm all about my dough. Gotta make sure my boys gon' blow. They love my beat, they rate my flow. My neck is cold, it's 0 below. Big wrist gon' shoot, you know I drove. I keep my heat, I ain't talking about a stove. I'm in a trap selling food, no fresh code. That nigga wants beef, my strap gon' blow. Every time I drop a track, my cloak gon' grow. Me and Shorty told me, don't love a hoe. I should've known that she was right. Because of that, we really tight. I'll bust my strap if she gon' fight. Hoodie on, right at night, I'll show my might. Never flight, 40 with the beam in, EM sightin'. I ain't missing, I ain't slipping, never tripping. Coke I'm whipping, check my waist, I'm really drifting.
Internet has stopped unexpectedly. If you'd like to send an error report to go fuck yourself, this will help us improve our product. Hey, you should have done that with the one that was out before this one.
Married to the game, not newlywed. Niggas watch my every move, they just wanna see me lose. These niggas lost like blues. My flow is sick, it's got the flu. Hey, I make red, just call me Dempster's inner mode, just like a denture. I am icy.
You gotta say that word didn't exist here. We got that off the fucking
me, call me Mr. Since she left, I have better. Really wish I never met her. Pays these niggas like a letter.
We don't use them words up here. We use them words up here. It was never about that up here.
Yeah. GSC. CH.
Should've never trouble, and trouble never trouble you. Should've never trouble, and trouble never trouble you. Never trouble you.
There's a war going on outside, no man is safe from my rusty outside. Said he seen this shit from day one. Politicking, spilling out my conscience, young nigga. When I hit a badness, we do this shit regardless. Keys to your
Right,
garden.
World War II,
Only
remember,
what you
okay, I'm
got
back in
it. Picking up my
1945 in my head
checklist,
again.
switching up my weapon. I'm afraid of rejection, so I keep it in the barrel of my magnum. Bullets penetrate through cars when I blast them. Hit the club party hard VIP section. Do a show with the crowd GSC weapon. OT blue flag, now everybody's cousin.
So I forget where I read I've studied so much shit that I can't always remember the sources, but it's either a source that I can sort of trust or not, knowing of course that whoever wins the war gets to write the history books. But in any event, the Canadian forces were issued 4 cigarettes per meal kit during World War II, meaning 12 cigarettes a day. And I just want to know, and this is before they started putting glue on rolling papers, which was 1942, which I found out this winter. These are I don't know if they called them king size or what they fucking called them. Tobacco sticks, the revenue people, the tax people call them. I just want to know, like, what bean counter up at head office was doing the work on his slide rule to figure out how many people they had, and how much. And I want to know what cigarettes cost back then. If you got the government contract to just ship them piles of cigarettes, what do you care about packaging and marketing? Because I'm looking at my internet radio. Those radio dramas that have the advertising's like burned in. You couldn't, like, if you try to edit it out, you'll fuck up the flow. Those are from the 30s and 40s. A lot of them. The 50, the Dragnet shit's like 1950.
Real bad boy, you get beat down in public. Police don't stop shit, black on black, they love it. Rather see us fight than make lovers out their daughter. Plant a black seed in the trees, it's called mulatto.
I damn trouble with furs, never trouble them, never trouble them. I damn trouble with furs, never trouble them, never trouble them. So make them come me ready for them, come ready for them. Make them come me ready again, come ready again.
Hey yo, my style is impeccable. Niggas better notice on my Mike Tyson shit. Flow so ferocious, I will eat these MCs. They're not up in my league, I'm in the better category of the highest of degrees. The shit that I see, the shit that I dream me out.
But the current state of the business obviously is troubled. Do you think you will have to close some Cineplex theaters?
We continue to evaluate our situations, and you know, if we have 2 theaters that are very
nobody gives a fuck. You go out of business, and you've been ripping us off forever.
Mediocre and the lease is coming up, we will relook at those situations. But
and we've
been entertaining Canadians for 100 years, so I'm sure we will get through this, and we will be stronger on the other side.
That's Alice Jacob, President and CEO of Cineplex.
Yeah, but they'll do something stupid. They won't leave well enough alone. We took the time to reimagine and did this and did that and did this. Can you just paint every other seat one white and one black or something like that, and we'll know which ones to use or not? Okay, wait, that might not work.
And trash. We can't live at Maple Auto Mall.
But the white guy's going to sit down in the white seat. I'm sitting in the black, and I'm going to argue with him, and then I'll get thrown the fuck out. We'll have another shooting or fucking movie.
We are.
This would be so simple to deal with. Hey, how about putting an old T-shirt over the seat back? Oh, that's better. Then you can take it off and clean it.
Better be aware your surroundings are end up in the box, lost and never found, kid. And that's life. Pay the price. Don't act like you might lose yours tonight.
Stream. Are you doing video now? No. See.
Don't think twice, get wet up nice, never drive by, be on the execution style, up close and personal, look him in his eyes, squeeze that 9 and watch his brains go pop fly, that's 1 out and it's 2 to go, all my enemies I think you should know.
I damn trouble with furs, never trouble them, I damn trouble with furs, never trouble them, so make them come.
New York niggas, we got it. Yeah, shout out filming DJs, Pod 2. Yeah. New York niggas, we got it.
Nigga, bigger smell that.
When it comes to money, I'm up in these screws. My niggas rob niggas, then they bring me their jewels. I used to ask God for things, but I would never get it. Now I just steal it and ask God for forgiveness. You worried about the wrong man. I'm the shooter. Give a man an inch and he think he the ruler. There's no I in team, there is a me. American dream to believe it, you gotta be a slave. I know it's bad, but I'm high anyway. Eat healthy, stay fit, high anyway. Say the talk to God, you gotta pray, but I don't get it. Cause when God talk back to me, they say I'm just a credit. I don't talk shit, I pull up pistols. I'm like a ventriloquist, you never see my lips move. I'm throwing money up, never get skinny bitch. Box too fat, can even go skinny dipping. I started with nothing and still had most of it. I'm pulling out hammers like jumping Jehoshaphat. I can't remember the last time I forgot something. This does this decoration, nigga, so stop fronting. You stick these fingers, I'm maniac depressive. I'm passive aggressive. You better spread the message. You know who the best is. Better have your best. I'm good, big, black, and ugly. I call that bitch precious. I sweat on my nose. They say that I'm an evil brother. I'm a warlock. I see things and dream in color. You think it can't happen till you got flesh. You supposed to make it right. But believe me, 3 laughs, we keep it clean. The whips, clean up with the guns. Stabs on 100. Trying to get the ones. Good stroke, sticky.
There's so much great stuff.
Bro, man, P.I. They acting like the sons. I don't give a shit. Give a shit. The niggas, we don't give a shit. Give a shit. Don't nigga, bro. I don't give a shit. Give a shit. The niggas, we don't give a shit. Give a shit. I know the hood like I came back so hard. Such a night. Must be an acting girl. You'll stick your finger back and he grind me again with that double barrel shotgun like Siamese twins. It's always the nigga with the biggest mouth that can fuck first. I'm not as bad as people say, believe me, I'm much worse. Can't believe they can't see through how you be fronting. You know the cost of anything, but you value nothing. And even if a bitch got a fuck to make you use a mother nature gave you before Father Time taking. I heard everybody out my hotter. I believe in hard smokes, nigga, my sign is valor. Listen, nigga, I'll make a deal with you. Stop lying on me or I'll start telling the truth about you. About my hip-hop niggas and my hip-hop bitches. Stick your fingers back and hell with y'all for true wishes. And I'ma keep grinding till they close the curtain. I don't know what makes you so wet. Nigga, it's my nigga, it's my. I carry so much heat, you think it was a Western. I don't think hands, you need to spray with weapons. I was born to be a Western. Keeping my blood tight, bleed tight, negative. Go quietly into the night. Live every day like you should land one day and be right. We keep it clean, the whips, clean up with the guns. Stabs on 100, trying to get the ones. Good stroke, sticky, nigga smoke guns. This is broke man, P.I. They acting like the sons. I don't give a shit, give a shit.
I skipped that on purpose.
We don't give a shit, give a shit. Don't nigga, bro, I don't give a shit, give a shit. The niggas, we don't give a shit. Give a shit. Live, we report.
What is there to honk at? No, seriously, what is there to? What traffic? It's like
check 1 2.
It's
City natives in the building
on a Sunday.
You know, mic check.
Oh, it's a holiday. The fuck are they honking at traffic? Shut up, driving, relax.
To play the drums and sample, I hop on the track.
Country's top doctor warns the contagious variants could spark a third wave. COVID-19 biostatistician Ryan Imgrund says Ontarians could have the power to make a decision, which is different from what we've done before.
Here in Ontario, the reproductive rate has always gone up on holidays where we have had gatherings occur. We have the power to do something different so that it does not happen this Family Day weekend.
Imgrund says data shows since March 2020, every holiday has been associated with an increased reproductive rate. When you have a reproductive rate above 1,
you could say the same thing about January and February, but
one primary case leads to more than one secondary infection.
Whenever we see cases go up from a long weekend, we need to note that we're not going to be able to properly assess that for approximately a week and a half following that event. So it's not as if we can see next Tuesday, next Wednesday, what's happened this Family Day weekend. What it will basically take is not next Friday, but the
I understand it's the same 3 to 14 days incubation or something.
He says if you travel from one region to the next, you could bring the more contagious variants into other areas.
Infectivity or whatever, it's
we need to be watching
10
out
days,
right now.
doubling rate is every 7 to 10 days or something.
981 new COVID-19 infections today, which is down from 1,300 yesterday.
Did anybody get shot or someone
the numbers have been fluctuating. Toronto reported 122 cases, Peel Region and York Region reporting 209 and 171 respectively. In a tweet earlier tonight, Toronto Public Health says they cannot verify today's case count for the city due to work being completed on their data system. 42 more Ontarians have died from the virus. That's up from 19 yesterday. Nearly 49,000 tests
the numbers are going down.
Over 467,000 people in the province have received at least one dose of the vaccine.
And the Ontario government has identified the next group in line to get the COVID-19 vaccine in an expansion of the Phase 1 rollout. 680's Tijuana Turner has the details.
A memo sent to public health officers says priority should now be given to staff and essential caregivers in long-term care homes, adults over 80, high-risk retirement homes, and First Nation elder care homes. These groups are listed as priority during the first vaccine rollout, but when delays in shipment led to a
development has helped to narrow the gap between the southern and northern cultures. As a local Hong Konger,
the province says it's now ready to make
he has more than 50 customers, including some overseas.
Basically, we provide special tailored products for export. We have overseas customers. They're looking for this around the globe, and they found us. They told me they didn't expect to see such efficient products. Then we signed the deal.
But it wasn't just his work that kept him in Beijing. Li also fell in love with life in the Chinese capital. He says the city is attractive not only in terms of providing opportunities, but also with its rich culture.
They can also travel overseas. If you find a perfect place to work or start your own business, then you can stay.
Li Xinglong recently shared
it's still tough to figure out which size of particles we need to be concerned about, but
are you stupid?
People perfectly from
this is all mistakes. Might as well just say PM 2.5.
That includes making sure your mask fits your face well, that you're constantly washing your hands, and keeping your distance from others. I'm Denise Wong. You're
They don't seem to understand, but it's the viruses that
facilities will be opening as of Tuesday for people with disabilities to access physical therapy. The gyms will only be available for people who meet the criteria, and they must show a medical certificate verifying the disability under the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act. Weight rooms, studios, stretch areas, and indoor walking tracks will be open at locations including Lawrence, East York, and Etobicoke Olympian Community Centers. The 10 locations have been chosen due to its accessible.
I hope some dude with no legs and one arm shows up. Or, yeah, the one with the mouse control for the electric chair. And they ask him for his certificate, and he says, I don't fucking have one.
Masks are mandatory in common areas like change rooms and washrooms, and appointments must be made in
not from
advance by
Ontario?
calling the gym directly to book the 90-minute visit.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News at 8:38. Some royal Valentine's Day news with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry reportedly expecting their second child. Spokesperson for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex confirming Archie is going to be a big brother. They add that Meghan and Harry are overjoyed to be expecting again. The royal couple shared a black and white photo of Markle cradling her baby bump while laying on Prince Harry's lap. Last year, the couple stepped back from their royal duties and have since been living in California, where the baby is expected to be born.
Coming up, gas prices aren't changing, but find out what they are in just 30 seconds. 680 News Time, 8:39.
I wonder if they updated the gas website thing.
Oh, not quite hard, but I love these stories. So I'm going to be tuning in at 10 o'clock to listen to your show, Laura. And Kelly, 10 days and you proposed, and how long have you been married?
It's about
we met.
need like this week in organized crime podcast, like in his wow.
Think about it, there's one or two. Yang has found that the opening up policy has helped millions of Chinese businesses grow, and more companies' bosses want consultants of local solutions, Food Star Service. The logo is exactly what she wants to achieve in her career. Provide her customers with professional advice. In fact, several years ago, began for overseas customers.
And Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are expecting their second child. They have a son, Archie, born in 2018. I'm Janine Herbst, NGR News.
Also developed a mini app to help them calculate the tax they need to pay, and they all find it quite helpful. Yang said,
the QEW that's wide open now between Burlington and Mississauga. Earlier problems on the westbound QEW, west of Mississauga Road, have cleared, so all lanes are open. Traffic is moving well. We had some problems on the eastbound 403 at Eglinton. They've cleared as well. So traffic is back up to speed. No problems on the 401 across the city, express and collectors. Haven't heard of any complaints on road conditions up towards the Barrie area, even up on the 404 up to Newmarket. So things are looking pretty good so far. So good. Receive rates as low as 0% or savings up to $5,000 on select 2020 vehicles during the Land Rover Own the Adventure sales event. Contact your Land Rover authorized retailer for all the details. With all the details on the forecast, here's Carl Lamb.
-9 tonight with the snow developing during the overnight, continuing into the first part of the day tomorrow. Expect 1 to 3 centimeters of snow for most of the GTA by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon. And then we do have about 2 to 4 centimeters for areas from Hamilton out towards the Niagara region. Tomorrow's high -7, and it will turn windy by the time we get to Monday evening. Just ahead of the next storm system that's going to bring some steadier snow to the GTA, dropping down to -13. And then for Tuesday,
wind gusts of 119 kilometers an hour
will be about 10 to 20 centimeters across the GTA. Tonight's overnight low -9.
Right now in downtown Toronto, it's -4 with a few clouds, but feels like -9. Similar conditions near Toronto Pearson Airport at -5. Feeling like -10.
It was colder out there. Yeah, you're lying. You're lying. You're straight up lying. There's somehow getting warmer at night.
In Vancouver, BC, for the 30th annual Women's Memorial March to honor women who have gone missing or died this past year. Myrna Cranmer, one of the event's organizers, says it's important to remember those who have died.
Some of the names that come up every year, it just really hurts my heart. Because I've known these women, I've worked with them, and it's just very sad.
She estimates 50 women from the neighborhood have died under violent circumstances or from COVID-19 since last March. Still to come on SICKLY News, a look at your top stories in sports.
During the Only Adventure sales event, find exceptional limited time offers on Land Rover vehicles, including the legendary Defender, the dynamic Range Rover Sport, or the versatile Discovery Sport. Each one offers unrivaled performance on road and off. For a limited time, receive finance rates as low as 0% or savings up to $5,000 on select 2020 vehicles. Book your safe.
Encouraging people to come and find a job, make a living, or even start a business. Yang also mentions that many local
and beyond. Getting you where you need to go faster. The most traffic in Toronto.
Some commentators say the preferential policies are a gesture of goodwill from the mainland authorities, showing they're making concrete efforts to help Hong Kong overcome its long-standing social and economic problems. Yang says she feels lucky to be among the early batch of young Hong Kong people to start her own business in the Chinese mainland. and she wants to tell more Hong Kong friends to find opportunities in the Bay Area. The Big Bay Area is actually encouraging people to start their own business. Many young people in Hong Kong do want to find a new path by exploring the mainland market, but they don't know how.
Good evening, I'm Michelle Halim. Happy Valentine's Day.
And I'm James Mackham. Here are the top stories this hour.
A winter storm is in store for most of southern Ontario and parts of the GTHA, with powerful wind moving in for Family Day. A snowfall warning has been issued for Toronto with up to 25 centimeters
tonight in the morning, you get to wake up to Family Day. You get all day to think about it.
Experts say we could see an uptick in cases because of this long weekend, even with COVID-19 restrictions still in effect. Health officials across the country are warning a third wave could be coming.
She's probably one of the best-known politicians in the country. Mississauga's former mayor, Hazel McCallion, is celebrating her 100th birthday today.
For these stories and more, head over to 680news.com.
680 News Time, 8:45.
Investments that tend to themselves. Our new mutual funds are called Global ETF portfolios. And for as little as $25, you'll be investing before you can say, what, the ETFs? So start making moves with your money, because investing is in. Visit tangerine.ca and get started today.
Choosing a child care provider is an important decision. You want your child cared for in a safe and stimulating environment.
This is the
for
same
over
station.
35 years, We Watch, a licensed agency, has been offering flexible, affordable, quality home-based child care. We Watch providers follow enhanced COVID-19 protocols and deliver educational and reliable care with a focus on emotional growth and social development. Spaces are now open. Learn more at WeWatch.com.
People, if you're at yesterday, you got spaces open today.
News Talk Leader. If you have an iPhone, keep it 6 inches away from your pacemaker. Apple is warning customers its smartphones could interfere with pacemakers. In the notice published on Apple's support page Saturday, when they want to put this out to the general media.
And over at the Australian Open.
Now you're supposed to keep your iPhone 6 inches away from your pacemaker.
The Morning Show, weekdays at 5:30 a.m. or anytime from Apple and Spotify podcasts. We are 640 Toronto.
The health of workers and customers is the #1 priority for every Canadian business owner and manager. As businesses prepare to fully reopen, they're turning.
Yeah. As I was saying, Canadians, like you, love helping each other. No worries. And when you donate your vehicle to Kidney Car, that's exactly what you're doing. Funding programs and services for kidney patients right here in Canada. Plus, you get your car towed away for free and a minimum $300 tax receipt, often more. Right on. Kidney Car, helping Canadians help each other for over 27 years. Donate at kidneycar.ca.
COVID-19 has come at a cost for many small businesses, but financial support is available from the government of Ontario. From grants of up to $20,000 for eligible small businesses to support for purchasing PPE to rebates for property tax and energy costs. We are working to ensure our small businesses can keep employing people and serving our communities now and when COVID-19 is behind us. Visit ontario.ca/COVID support to apply. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
Be the first to know. Breaking
And it all predicates on today and tomorrow, doesn't it?
680 News. Today marks the 3rd anniversary of the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. And it's also a day when U.S. President Joe Biden is calling for tougher gun laws.
In nearby Fort Lauderdale, the city held a ceremony where the names of the 17 students and staff killed by a former student were read. Another ceremony is taking place in Parkland. President Biden is calling on Congress to require background checks on all gun sales and ban assault weapons. In a statement, he said, "We owe it to all those we've lost and to all those left behind to grieve, to make a change. The time to act is now." The governor ordered flags to be lowered to half-staff and everyone in the state to pause for a moment of silence at 3 p.m. I'm Julie Walker.
And with his second acquittal from impeachment now secured, former U.S. President Donald Trump has not been barred from running for office in the future.
On ABC's This Week, Louisiana Republican Senator Bill Cassidy, one of 7 Republicans who voted to convict Trump, was asked if it's possible Trump can mount a successful campaign in the future.
I think it's forced Wayne's. The Republican Party is more than just one person.
Still, 43 Republicans voted to acquit Trump, and Cassidy has already been censured by his state's Republican Party for his vote. Though he's acquitted, Trump still faces possible civil and criminal jeopardy. There are also calls to bar him from office using the 14th Amendment. Mark Remillard, ABC News.
Coming up, we've got Colette Desjardins in the 680 Traffic Center and Carl Lamb with your extended weather forecast. 680 News Time, 8:50.
Very happy with you.
It's all about the numbers. And if we're off by more than 3 degrees,
You can win our cash jackpot.
give me a number that
then do some dry brushing, then you either take a bath or a shower and take things really, really slowly. Like, actually have a date with yourself. Don't just like, oh, it's time to, play with myself. I'm going to like do it 1, 2, 3, okay, I'm done. I'm satisfied for now. Like, actually do a date. And if you're with a partner, maybe you do the same thing. And you tell your, like, you tell your partner, I'm locking the door. Don't bother me. Like, you take care of the kids.
Wait,
or
you have a partner right there. Hold on.
Like minus 16. Just like take them somewhere. I don't care.
You're gonna lock this next one.
Oh, their house. I want silence for like, give me an hour. So
Silence.
Seduce, right? Seduce yourself. Maybe read something delicious and erotic, like some delicious erotic literature. If you ever want some advice on that, just, shoot me a DM on Instagram and I'll be happy to oblige and to send you some links.
Bring your phone in, that's a good idea.
Or watch porn. Yes.
Or watch
I just watched Bridgerton this week in 2 days. I did
really
the
want
whole
to change
thing.
it, but I'm like,
Holy smoke.
Bridgerton
like
is...
the fish, it knows better than to bite that
Okay.
shiny plastic.
That, or something more hardcore if you want. And again, if you want some suggestions, just hit me up and I'll be happy to suggest. There's a lot of really great feminist porn out there. So I'm not just talking about objectifying women's bodies and like having like old plastic out there that makes no sense. But I'm talking about like really fantastic. Again, it's porn and it may be like, it's not sex, it's an interpretation of sex and interpretation of sex, but it's really good stuff to get you going. Or again, literature or just, music, but just like really take the time, maybe put some candles on. So do that by yourself. And then if you want, you can do it with your partner. But again, maybe plan it out.
No wonder you're by yourself at the door lock. He locked it from the outside.
Come to me, and I'm sure you've seen it, like sex used to be like some